part one of a longer, never too late conversation. Here's where the story begins. With bricks, imagination, and the foundations of connection. Welcome in.
My dear friend Rodney, welcome to Never Too Late, our podcast that was started a few months ago.
Well, thank you. It's great to see you and great to be here.
So it is January 14th, 2026. And the vision, which you're going to certainly add a lot to, is to make sure that the global boomer population, which is at least 1.1 billion people, get to understand the passion that you and I have for bricks. For bricks, which stands for building relationships one brick at a time. Thank
Love
you
it.
for joining me.
Awesome. This is
And
wonderful.
what do you want to add to it? Because you're on this because you're brilliant. You're my other half. You're my brilliant partner. All right.
I think for me, the whole concept of this is about the interconnectedness and the possibility and the limitless interconnections and the limitless choices that we can make. And bricks, very specifically to me, are the fundamentals of growth, the fundamentals of development, and how we have that ability of just totally exploring and joining in community and all the elements that go along with the concepts of blocks and bricks.
Yes. Love it, love it, love it. You see, I chose well, right, audience?
Oh, you're so kind.
So I think we can begin with our love of bricks. Like, when did it start? And where are you now? And have you come back to it? Just give the audience some idea of your journey with bricks.
I think my journey with bricks started as a very young child. My earliest memories of about 3 years old were and building what I referred to as these castles built out of blocks at the time. My parents, we were not very affluent folks. And I remember sitting in my mother's living room on the hardwood floors with these bricks and blocks that my father made, that my mother hand painted,
Oh my
building
God.
these intricate castles around me, learning how blocks interconnected, learning the fundamentals of foundation, balance, symmetry. And those were some of the most influential memories that I have that drove, I think, how my brain functions, or they were expression of the early days of how my brain functions. I'm a builder by nature. I build systems, I build teams, I build processes. And this is just that extension for me. My love for bricks continued with the discovery of Legos.
Yes.
Been around for a very long time. And a little bit about me and how this all relates together. I'm an early bird. Ever since I can remember, I've only needed about 5 hours of sleep. I'm usually awake at about 3 a.m. every morning.
Oh,
And I remember I woke up at 2:41 this morning, wide awake. And I remember as a kid waking up very early. And I was the only one like this in my family. I remember going into my mother's bedroom, mom, 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 Rodney, go back to bed, was always the response. I couldn't sleep. So I remember sitting on my bedroom floor playing with Legos. And my fascination with them, again, was about that interconnected element. And I truly believe that children need to use their imagination because it allows us to be creative. It allows us to solve problems. It allows us to think differently. And for me, sitting on my bedroom floor, playing with these bricks, these Legos, and this was the early days of Legos where they didn't have the ultimate designer kits or the pre-designed functions. You literally had a bucket, dumped it on the floor, and started clipping them together.
Yes, yes.
And my love and passion for Legos has continued. I'm in my mid 50s and I still play with Legos.
I love it. I love
For
it.
me, they're a moment of zen these days.
Yes.
With the complexity of the world, I find it's a quiet moment for me.
Yes.
I'm present in the moment. I'm playing with them and I'm creating something. It's all about that moment for me.
I love it. I love it. Let me just say that my passion started last Christmas. I
Wow,
never
late
played
bloomer.
with a brick or block in my life, nor did I buy them for my two sons, nor my grandchildren. And I'll just refer the audience to my first podcast on Never Too Late, which talks about my introduction. So rather than bore everybody, go back to that one, folks. And it's the build was the Red London telephone booth. And I
Yep.
needed a little help to start because it's probably not the beginning kit with my then 11-year-old nephew. And I said to myself, if I like this, where will I put them? And
Mhm.
then, as I tell people, my spirit was saying, take them to Children's Hospital. Take
Yeah.
them, build them, give them to the children, give them another set that they can put together, and also the capability of taking apart whatever I've brought to them. And
Mm.
my spirit said, okay, that's great. And so as I continued to build, I then reached out to the Children's Hospital and they said, oh, we can't take them if they're built. And I
Oh.
must tell you, I was sad. However, my faith is strong. And 2 weeks later, I knew that the Lord would come up with another idea. I got a call from a former client who said, you probably don't remember me. I was in your class. And 4 years ago, I got your number from someone else that you work with. And I wonder if you can do it for schools. And she said, no, excuse me. She didn't say Legos for schools or bricks for schools. She said, can you do some training for my staff? I work at a charter school. And I said, sure. Will you take Legos? And she said, yes. And I spent 2 days, 2 hours each at this charter school. I have videotapes of the 12, 13-year-old middle schoolers who had, after I taught them about trust, they then got loose bricks to put together. And every time they put a brick on with another brick, they would talk about what characteristic might they develop so they can develop trusting relationships.
I love it.
Again, I'm channeling this good stuff from the Lord. Again, like you said, given this time, I need a partner, smart like Mr. Rodney, who I've worked with for years. I said, how do we do this? And we all need partners. Building relationships,
Mhm.
one brick at a time, means don't
Yep.
just do it yourself and go out in the world, but build relationships.
Yeah.
At this point, I need to say I've made 70. I have a full-time job and a full life, and I have built 70 of these models. Talk about Zen. I need to touch them every day,
I
every
love it.
day, every day. Thank you.
Do you find that being in that moment to be a very cathartic thing when you're building the models?
Oh, the lessons, which we're going to do on some other podcasts, but let's just talk about a couple lessons. I find that if I'm sad about something, rather than ruminate and go down the deep hole about blaming and shaming, I pull out the bricks and I get so zen, I then can see my part in the drama.
Yes.
And then I can choose, it takes one person to think win-win, to call the person and say, I apologize, without the motive of them having to apologize back.
Yep.
So again, this vision of bricks and building relationships, I think it will keep growing as it has over this past year into a way that we can talk about working with our grandchildren, our nieces and nephews, our mates, our neighbors, schools, grandparents and grandchildren. It's limitless. And I have
Yes.
been building them with those different areas since last year.
Oh, that's
Um,
wonderful.
when you talk about cathartic, it makes me think almost to every kid, I'll say, I have to call them, that part's missing. I'll look everywhere on the floor. I can't find that part. They made this kit wrong. And then I get up, go in the other room, come back an hour later, and there is the part.
There it is. Yep.
So it makes me think the transferable information and awareness is chill. Don't
Yes.
be right away thinking that others did something to me, but rather, what
Mhm.
do I need to do differently? Even in a couple cases where I ordered a second kit because I couldn't find pieces.
Wow.
See, what responsibility can I take so that I can get back to my Zen and complete these
Yes.
wonderful puzzles?
Yes. That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah. What about you? You've got the Zen. What else you got going when you do these?
I think for me, a lot of it comes down to I also find it taps into all the various learning elements and ways I like to operate. I work in the corporate world like yourself. And for me, reading instructions, following visuals, if you think about the kits that we build today,
Yeah.
right? They are designed for all types of learners, all types of builders.
Yes.
So there's not a lot of words. They're very visually oriented. And I'm a visual person.
Yes.
So understanding and seeing a pictograph and deciphering how this is supposed to go together, finding the related pieces, taps into the creative, the problem solving, the challenge elements of my mind
Yes.
to
Yes.
be able to then put this together. And then ultimately at the end, it's the dopamine hit and the reward of
Yes.
now having this
Yes.
completed. To me, they're art pieces in a lot of ways.
Yes.
Having this completed art piece, the sense of accomplishment physically in front of me. A lot of times in the world, we find accomplishment that's non tangible,
Yes.
especially in the corporate world.
Yes.
But this is a tangible thing. I can touch it. I can feel it. I can play with it. Yeah, I can pick it up and pop pieces back off accidentally
Yes.
and
Yes.
go, all right, let me figure out how to put this back together again.
Yes.
And I love that it accesses all the different elements of my mind, the prefrontal cortex, the amygdala. It taps into all the parts and pieces to allow me to be able to achieve this.
I love it. I've got a great story from Christmas holidays. Yes.
Yes.
I have neighbors who are both Christian and Sikh. And yeah, and I said to the mother, I said, would you find who you worship? Give me something spiritual so
Mhm,
that we can make that together. And,
mhm.
the Christian complement in my home, I've got the mosque, all those things. And so building a different relationship with a neighbor. So she's got a 5-year-old, 6-year-old daughter. And she came over and I showed her my collection. I said, now you choose 3 of these models and tell me which one you want. And then for the holidays, I will bring it over to you. So she had her eye on the hospital and that lights up and then all the little
Yep.
pieces. So when she came back, I wrapped it all up for her. The parents sent me a video of she's playing in the hospital inside as if it's a dollhouse. Now, the distinction between the two of us is I like to build them and look at them. I'm not going to play
Yep.
with the hospital beds and the needles. The video clip, which I think we'll post at some point with their permission, she's playing with it. So she's getting value and love out of it all the time. And they've also said that she can come over and build something with me. Now, this is
Oh,
neighbors, they come over, they say hi. This is so
yep.
different. The relationship, the building with the dad, the mom, and the little girl, the sky's the limit with this.
Yeah.
Family, neighbors, everyone. And I believe that together we're going to build something by our own modeling and
Mhm.
by reaching out to people and then become influencers. So you're
Yeah.
in your 50s, I'm in
Yep.
my 70s. Doo, 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 doo. Can you tell that?
Ah, no, I would never, ever believe that.
I'll never grow up. I'll never grow up.
Please
I
don't.
don't want to go to school, etc. Wow. So this is our first foray. And I think before we end, let's go get our favorite and bring it
Thank
back.
you for listening to Never Too Late. May you keep building in your mind, in your heart, and in your relationships, one brick at a time. Remember that creativity heals, play restores, and every small piece can become something beautiful. If this episode spoke to you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use a little inspiration today. Until next time, keep building, keep learning, and keep believing that it is truly never too late.